Coming up on the Raptor Report, we'll be talking with the head coach of MC Women's Soccer, Phil Nanna. Stick with us. Hi everybody, I'm Michael Brown and this is the Raptor Report, where we cover MC athletics from every possible angle on the fields and courts, in the classrooms, and also behind the scenes with coaches and staff. And today I am pleased to welcome in Phil Nanna. Phil is the head coach of MC Women's Soccer. Yep. Phil, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
All right, now unfortunately because of our field situation here, we have not been able to do any women's soccer games on the channel the last couple of years, so I think we need to introduce you a little bit to the audience. You're an MC alum, and you also played soccer here, correct?
Yeah, I did a few years back, 2011, 2012. I was here, and great experience.
And then from there you went to?
I went on to Frostburg State University, over in Western Maryland, so great experience as well.
And then where did soccer take you after that?
After that, I was lucky enough to be able to go overseas to Germany and play for a while. Also, I played in New Orleans, New York, had a little stint in Mexico. So it took me a few places. I got to travel a little bit with soccer, yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Of course, that was on the professional level.
That was on the professional level, yes.
All right. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it seems, you find yourself as the head coach of Montgomery College women's soccer. How did that all come about?
To be honest, I never in a million years imagined I would be doing that. I had graduated Frostburg. I was doing an internship here. I was a bio major, so I was studying with a professor here, doing some research. And of course, he's into soccer. So one day the women were playing. He was like, hey, let's take a break. Let's go catch the women's soccer game. He's really close friends with the women's coach. So I was like, yeah, sure. So he knows my background in soccer, introduced me to the women's coach. He was so fascinated about where I've been, what I've done. And he was like, yo, can you come out and come do some stuff with the girls? They would love it. So I was like, yeah, of course. I have free time. I'm not doing much. So I come out there, do a couple drills, do a couple sessions. They loved it. He loved it. I enjoyed it. And coincidentally, that same year, he was like, yeah, like I could really use an assistant. I don't have an assistant, anything like that. Would you be interested? At that point, I was still kind of in between playing professionally and not really sure what I wanted to do, so I was kind of skeptical about it, but I figured it wouldn't hurt. So I was like, yeah, sure, we can do it. So we did well. I remember I came on around the postseason. I remember us beating Howard to go to the regional finals. So
always a good thing.
Always a good thing. Always a good thing. I love moments like that. So we did that. We did really, really well. He ended up getting a new job over in Baltimore. So as he was leaving, he asked me, he was like, Phil, I think you would be a phenomenal head coach here. I would love to put in a letter of recommendation for you. Is this something you're interested in? So, I had nothing to lose. I wasn't sure if I would take the job I wasn't even sure I was going to get the job, honestly, being like, I think I was 25, 26 years old. Just, there's no way I could be coaching a college soccer, a school that I just played at a couple of years back, So, but I'm one of those people, I'm always optimistic. I always feel it doesn't hurt to try. So I did. I applied. Got to sit down with Tarlu and the AD at the time, which was Derek. And a few days later, they gave me a call and offered me the job. So I'm here now.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's to our good fortune because you'll be beginning your fourth year now as head coach. Your first 3 years have been pretty amazing. I mean, first year you won the regional championship. You just missed in PK's winning districts and going to nationals. And then the last 2 years, you've won regions, districts, and gone to nationals. I mean, you got to be pretty pleased with the way things have gone so far.
Yeah, I've been really blessed. I think the school and the players and the timing I came in was just worked out. I can't say it was me. I think, I was blessed to have like an AD like Coach G, which kind of pointed me in the right directions. Luckily, me coming in too, at that year was a year where soccer was picking up, especially women's soccer. So I was blessed to have some really good players, especially like last year where we had a couple All-Americans. So it was really, really good. And also just, the fact that I just got done playing professionally, there were these lots of new things that I've learned overseas in Germany. Montgomery and in New Orleans and stuff that I wanted to implement, which I think served as motivation for the girls per se, to kind of trust in the system and see it to be successful if they stick with it. And I think that's where a lot of our success came from, really.
Well, you know, I think back to last year's team, and I don't think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would I be correct in saying you did not expect the kind of success that you had last year?
I mean, you're spot on. You were beyond correct. I knew it was going to be a rebuilding year. Graduating 9 starters from the year before, we knew in soccer, you know, 11 players on the field, you take 9 out that are experienced, it's going to be tough to win anything. So we looked at this year to be a rebuilding year. We would be lucky if we made it 500. We would be lucky if we made it to the semifinals of regionals. And lo and behold, I mean, my life has been full of surprises, as you could tell from getting a job and so forth. And the girls were able to surprise us this year. Honestly, I was very, very impressed with how young they were and how they were able to withstand the adversity. Coming into this season, or last season, losing our 2 main players that we thought we could build the team around was a big blow to not just the coaches and our tactics, but the team and the overall dynamics itself, because they were leaders. They were people that the rest of the team relied on. So we kind of had to find new leaders and kind of put together a system of play that wasn't too intricate like we did the years before, something that the girls can grasp very easily, but also be able to teach them how to mature quicker, because there weren't any leaders, graduating 9 seniors. And then our 2 returners, which we thought were going to be the leaders, were unable to play due to injury and not being eligible. So it was a tough season for the freshmen, but they were able to withstand all that adversity, and I was thoroughly impressed this season.
And I'm telling you, boy, you got hot at the right time. Yeah. Those 2 regional games, you could have beaten anybody in those games, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those saying, you never want to peak until, you know, the postseason, till the end of the season per se. And I felt that way throughout. You know, like when the season started, the middle of the season, even getting to the end of the season, I knew we weren't playing our best soccer. I was just waiting for when it'll all click. And luckily, it clicked literally, you know, 2 games before we hit the big tournament. So you know, I don't know what else to say. It was just, everything just fell into place at that time, and it worked out great for us.
It sure did.
Yeah.
And we're going to be, we need to take a little break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more on the Raptor Report after this.
Career success starts at Montgomery College. Get the hands-on education you need for the job you want, and save up to half the cost of attending other colleges. Start your future now at Montgomery College.
Welcome back to the Raptor Report. Michael Brown alongside Phil Nanna, head coach of MC's women's soccer program. Now, Phil, this is a whole new ball game coming up this year, because the college is moving up in division, and because of a quirk in the NJCAA, they don't have a D2 in soccer. So you guys are jumping from D3 up to D1.
Yeah.
That's got to be a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge. It's something which I think the school deserved. I think it's something which was a long time coming per se, because not just the population and size of the school, but also the overall talent that we have here, especially in athletics. I think it's something that's going to be great for us. But yeah, you're right. It is going to be a battle. It is going to be tough. The good thing for us is in our region, we play some tough Division I schools. Even as we were Division III, we still play Division I schools. For the most part, we could handle our own against Division I schools in our region. But that tough part will be that postseason where you're playing those D1 schools from New York and Atlanta, and you know those guys are good from what we can saw. We were able to play against one of the teams that made it to the national finals last year, which was ASA. We went up to New York to play them, and that was one of the hardest games I think we've ever played in our life. It was tough. It was tough. As a coach, tactically, I was challenged really hard. As players, they were challenged on the field, physically, technically. So those are the kind of teams that we expect to see all of next year, or at least those are the kind of teams which we're going to prepare the girls to be able to compete with next year. So we're excited for it, honestly. I think it'll be a great venture for us.
Oh, I'm excited too. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we do. And like you said, the regular season shouldn't be that much different. You're going to play pretty much your standard Maryland JUCO teams and a few teams outside of the league. But yeah, when you get to the postseason, when it's all D1, starting at the regional level and then going to districts and then nationals. One thing that's going to be nice is if you make it to nationals, we won't be up in the sub-zero weather that you played in last year.
Oh yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm glad about. Because I could not. The girls were up there. We were up there. It was tough for us. Playing in that weather.
Oh, it was crazy. That weather was not made for soccer.
Not at all.
Or soccer's not made for that weather.
Per se, yeah. Because it's tough, and especially playing the style of play that we play with our technical style of play, it's tough to play like that when it's snowing outside, and it's tough to play like that when the wind chill it literally feels like you're cutting your face, So I'm super excited to be in the warm weather and get out of that, upstate New York cold.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. I mean, last year was just crazy. You would put the ball down for a free kick, and the wind would blow the ball 15 yards down the field.
Yeah. It took me. I couldn't understand why we were playing soccer in that weather.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
I was up there shooting, and I was like worried that my camera was going to freeze up, literally.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of these girls are not used to that weather at all.
Oh no, no, because we have a lot of kids from southern climates.
Yeah, southern climates, and our team is so diverse. Half of our players, they're not from even Maryland. They're from either, South America or Africa, where they're not at all used to this climate per se, Maryland, and then you take them up to the tundra, the frozen tundra up there, and it's
All right, real quick, because we're almost out of time, but give us a quick thumbnail on what your expectations are for this year with the new recruits that you brought in.
Okay, so luckily for this year, also going D1, that's one of the things that helped us out a lot was our recruiting. Being that we were able to give out a couple of scholarships, and also the fact that when people hear you're going to a higher competition level, they tend to respect the school and the program a little bit better. So we have a really good recruiting class coming in. I expect us to do really well. I expect us to hold our own. I expect us to advance out of our region. I think the only team which we're going to have trouble with is Hartford, because Hartford did really well last year. But one of the things about JUCO is that turnover. So most of their players were seniors last year, so they're all graduating. So they're going to be experiencing a little bit of what we experienced this last year. So they, to me, I think will be our biggest competition in our region. But I think it's some which we'll be able to hold our own. We're bringing in some really experienced players. One player which I think is going to stand out phenomenal. She's a phenomenal player. She's well advanced past her age. Is Ashley Zambrano. She's a center midfielder. She's going to be playing more in that holding defensive midfield for us. I think she's going to dictate the play. I think she's going to be a standout player. And also I think we have Alexa, who's also a phenomenal player, played for a national team over in El Salvador. So she's highly experienced and she's going to do well.
Sounds great, Phil. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I could talk to you all day about this kind of stuff. But before we go, I do want to encourage everyone to follow MC Athletics on YouTube and Facebook at the Raptors MC. You can also follow MC Athletics on Instagram and Twitter at MC_Raptors. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MC_Raptor Voice. Phil, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to all of you for joining us on the Raptor Report today. We'll be back soon with an all-new show.